Alright, in this video we're going to talk about finding the x and y intercept in problems that are in standard form. If you don't remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c. A, b, and c are usually whole numbers or fractions. But we're going to work with finding the x and y intercept. Alright, so the first one, this one, is simple. 3x plus 4y equals 12. Now remember, we talked about what intercepts are. Remember, that's where they cross the axis. So we have certain lines and they cross the x-axis. So we talked about in class that to find the x-axis, we plug in 0 for y. So we plug in 0 for y and solve for x. So remember, when you take 4 times 0, that is 0, so this cancels out. And what's left over on the left side would be the 3x. 12 doesn't get touched right there. So if 3x equals 12, remember to solve. We have a multiplication. We do the opposite, divide by 3. And then we get x equals 4. Now we talked about in class that x-intercept and y-intercept are a point. So this has to be 4 because x equals 4. And since we plug 0 in for y, there's one of my answers. So remember, we are talking about 3x plus 4y equals 12. So now we're going to find the y-intercept. Now remember, to find the y-intercept, you plug in a 0 for x. To plug in 0 for x, pretty simple. So we get 3 times 0 plus 4y equals 12. The 3 times 0 cancels out, and the only thing left on the left side is the 4y, and the 12 is left on the right side. Divide both sides by 4, and we get x equals, y equals 3. But remember, we're not done yet. So since I plugged in 0 for x, that goes first, y equals 3. There you go. Here are our two answers. Now remember, you have to plug in 0 for the other number and work with that. So now this one's a little different because we have a subtraction sign and a lone variable. So we're going to talk about that. So remember, to find the x-intercept, we plug in 0 for y. So I'm just going to rewrite it with my new 0 equals, with parentheses, equals 8. So in this one, this gets canceled out. The only thing left is 2x equals 8. Then we divide both sides by 2. X equals 4, because half of 8 is 4. Remember, 4 comma 0. So that's just like the last one. Now this is when it's different. We're talking about 2x minus y equals 8. Now we're finding the y-intercept, which means we plug in 0 for x. Now, this is important because this crosses out. But remember, there's not only a y left over on the left side, there is a negative y. So it's a negative y equals 8, not y equals 8. So remember, we still have the negative. To get rid of that, we have to divide both sides by negative 1. Remember, the reason we do that is because we want y by itself, not negative y. Negative y is not by itself. So when you take 8 divided by negative 1, 8, it's still an 8, but it's negative 8. Gotta remember that fact. So now we write it as our point, as always, and there are two answers right there. Oops, scribbled out, but it's negative 8. So those are our two answers, 4, 0, and 0, negative 8.